Bad land, huh? Doesn't seem so rough to me. Hey, what's happening, River Rats? Hope you're all doing awesome. I'm Kevin Johnson, back with another video here on River Valley Survival. Today, I'm coming to you from the Mauvaise Terre Creek, or the Badland. The plan is just to kind of scout around a little bit, see what's out here, see what kind of trees, plants, flora and fauna I can come across, maybe set up a little day camp, make some coffee, and just talk a little bit. So stay tuned. All right, so we're just starting on the trail, and we already have a nice opportunity. What we have here is a large branch that has fallen off of a nearby cottonwood tree. This is Eastern Cottonwood, Populus deltoides. You can identify that by the rough bark, by the kind of pyramid or spade-shaped leaves. In the spring, early summer, you'll notice the cottonwood fluff flying through the air, spreading the seeds here and there, trying to reproduce. As you can see over there, the larger Eastern Cottonwood tree that the branch broke off of. Eastern Cottonwoods are a member of the poplar family. They grow really big, really fast, die off rather quickly. Then they fall in the middle of the trail and leave all kinds of goodies behind. You can make an antibacterial salve from parts of this tree. It's really great for fire. It's got really light wood, so it makes good kindling. The little branches and twigs make good kindling for getting your initial fire started. It's not going to maintain your fire for a long time, but as far as getting it started, it works really good. Then you can move on to your harder woods for a longer lasting fire. It has inner bark that can be used as tinder. You can see it's kind of hairy inner bark here. If you was to peel all this back, you can see some of it's rotten here, but you have this hairy material. That's good to use for cordage in some situations, makes good tinder. So a lot of things for this tree. Excellent bow drill, hand drill wood, just all sorts of awesome things that you can do with cottonwood. The Mauvaise Terre Creek is a tributary of the Illinois River. It runs right through my local area of Jacksonville, Illinois. In fact, I teach a couple of different classes at different locations along this very creek. Now, when Europeans first came to this area, it was the French who set their eyes on this land. Upon their scouting and research of the surrounding land, they decided to name it Mauvaise Terre, which literally means bad soil or bad land. You see, at the time, it was prone to flooding. It was mostly bottom grounds. There was a lot of insects, mosquitoes, just mucky and muddy and nasty. Very hard to explore, very hard to travel, very hard to farm. So they called it the bad land. Now, little did they know that as the city of Jacksonville would grow and settle, the settlers would drain surrounding areas, divert the water into other areas, and create a very, very fertile agricultural area surrounding this area. So the bad land has actually turned into very good farm ground. That's what this area is known most for, is for its agriculture. Alright, so here's a score. We have common elderberry. Like a lot of them are ripe. That happens about this time of year, mid to late August. We're sitting at late August now, so just about 2 weeks out from Survival Fest. So get over to rivervalleysurvival.com. You can see some of them there are still green. We're looking for a bundle that is all the way ripe like this. Search around for one of the smaller ones. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab one of these umbrella shaped bundles here, and we're going to stick it right in our cup and then stick it in our bag for safe transport. Never mind the camera bag, pretend that's not here. Wood nettle. It's a very close relative to stinging nettle, has a lot of the same properties as far as edibility, as far as nutritional value, and as far as having them little stinging hairs on there. These hairs contain a histamine that will drive you crazy if you come into contact with them. They'll break off, kind of inject that histamine into your skin and cause a kind of itching sensation. Kind of depends on the person, how severe it is. I know some people that it's pretty severe, can last a day or longer. Personally, myself, it lasts about 10-15 minutes and kind of goes away, but it will drive me nuts in that amount of time. It'll be a little more sensitive, you know, in the underarm areas, between the legs, things like that. Armpits, elbow creases, knee creases, things like that are really bad places to get it. But fortunately, normally where this is growing, kind of in the moist lowlands, wetlands, you'll find another plant that can kind of counteract this. We'll look around a little bit, see if we can find it. Okay, so here's the plant I was looking for. This is Impatiens capensis, or orange spotted jewelweed. This is great for anything that's going to give you problems with your skin, as far as your poison ivy rash, or contact dermatitis from your wood nettle right here. It's going to work great for all that stuff. You see a lot of soaps with jewelweed in them, salves, lotions, things like that, because it's really good for your skin, good for psoriasis, eczema, all sorts of skin ailments. I'm going to pluck this one up because it's right here pretty much on the trail, and it has a good chance of getting stepped on anyway, and we have several other specimens just off the trail over here. So we'll grab this one up and take it with us. Okay, so we've made it to a spot where we can make us a little base camp, a little day camp. I've dropped pack. I'm going to search around here a little bit for some firewood, make us a little fire. Nothing too big. We're going to make our elderberry tea and check that out, see how that tastes. And we're just going to sit around and talk. I brought my tinder in with me, so really all I need is just some wood. I don't really need anything huge or big. We'll just find some stuff laying around here next to the creek. Get us a little fire going, get us a little tea. I'm kind of anxious to try it. I have never tried elderberry tea. I've had the syrup, I've had the tincture, but I haven't tried it just as a tea, so I'm excited about it. Looks like we'll be making tea really soon. Okay, so now that we've got that all done, we're going to take a look at this jewelweed. This jewelweed here, kind of what you do with that is you just take and you kind of smash it up. It's got a lot of tannins. It's a really juicy plant. Whenever you start breaking it up, you know, it starts getting kind of slimy. It'll start tinting your skin a little bit yellow. You can add a little bit of water or spit to it if you want to, but it's pretty juicy all on its own. You just keep smashing it up. And you can kind of see why they use it for soap when you start doing that. And what I'll do is I'll just take, if I've come into contact with poison ivy, I'll stick that on there. If if I'm all itchy from that wood nettle, I'll just rub that right on there. And of course it's going to tint you a little bit, but good for burns, bites, anything that ails the skin, you name it. That jewelweed will fix it right up. Now, as far as poison ivy goes, you hear a lot about how it's a cure. It's not necessarily a cure for poison ivy, but it can be a good treatment. You can see the more I work with this, the nastier it gets. You can see my hands are kind of orangish yellow. That's from the tannins. But as I was saying, it's more of a preventative or a treatment for poison ivy. It's not really a cure. You're not going to have poison ivy bumps, stick this on here, and they're not going to be healed up the next day. It doesn't quite work like that. But if you know you're going into poison ivy and it's avoidable, you can apply that beforehand, and it will form a little bit of a barrier against that uric oil that's in poison ivy. And like I said, it can treat it afterwards. It has a lot of healing effects. It's just not an instant cure. Okay, so I put a little bit of water in the bush pot here. We're gonna rinse them berries off. Now when you collect these for home use, you can take and freeze these. You freeze them by the bunch like this, and then after they're frozen, you can just smack them on the side of your bowl or your container, and they'll come right off. When they're still fresh and right, they don't do that so well. Anyway, I'll continue on with this process, and whenever I'm done, I'll get back with you. Just gonna dump those berries. A little bit of that water in there. Slosh it around. We're gonna dump them berries into our cup, and then we're gonna stick that on the fire. Okay, we're starting to heat up a little bit here. You see a little transfer of color into the liquid, starting to get a little pink, purple tint to it. I was sitting here kind of waiting around on my tea, kind of going through my gear. It's been a while since I've been out. I was just looking to make sure everything's maintained. And I come across my trusty LT Wright Patriot EDC here. I love this little blade. I've been carrying this for 6 or 8 years now. It's been just about everywhere I have. One thing I noticed from carrying it in my pocket and carrying it in my pack, the sheath's getting a little rough here. It's not too bad. But I like to try to keep my sheaths preserved, keep them nice and waxed or oiled, whatever you prefer. I kind of wanted to show you guys a product that my good friend Tony makes. Tony Suits from Tramp Outdoors. He makes this bush butter. And I've been using it for quite a few years now. Awesome product. You can use it for lip balm, for skin moisturizer, to fix creaky hinges, all sorts of things. What I primarily use it is to preserve leather and as a rust preventative on my knife whenever I'm out in the field. Works really good on wax canvas, on leather. You can rub it on your blade to keep it from rusting. You can see it's kind of like almost kind of like the consistency of a salve. Just take a little bit of that, rub it on your blades. You want to be careful doing this. But if you've been out in damp conditions, give it a thin coat. Pardon me. Running my commercial. Give it a thin coat here before you stick it back in your sheath. You take your shemagh or your bandana, kind of buff it up a little bit if you want. It ain't gonna hurt the handle either. Put some on the handle. Kind of keep everything nice and preserved. It also works really good on leather, like I said. You take that, you can even heat it up next to the fire a little bit, kind of get it heated up, or just rub it right in like so. Stick that on your leather sheath. Just rub it in. Your body heat will make it more pliable. And work it into that sheath there. You can set it up, you know, somewhat close to the fire, not right next to the fire obviously, but kind of help it penetrate into the leather a little bit. Really good stuff. Rub that in my sheath a little bit more. And you can see now, looks brand new. And for those who are interested in that, that's Wood Tramp Gear Bush Butter. You can catch this and the newest edition of the Wood Tramp Outdoors magazine over at woodtrampoutdoors.com. I'll be sure to put a link in the description down below. Great product, great magazine, great people. Can't recommend them enough. This is kind of what we have here. This has been sitting here about 20 minutes, kind of on the verge of a boil. You can see the berries have lost most of their color. Some of them are even kind of back to a green color. That's not because they were green when I put them in there. It's because most of the pigment's been transferred out of them into the water. So we're going to let this cool down and we'll see how it tastes. So it's cooled down and I have pulled most of the berries that were floating on top out of it. Most of them went down to the bottom after it was used up. We'll see how she tastes. Still pretty warm, but it does have a pleasant taste. It's not like a sweet berry taste. It's more of a earthy berry taste, but it definitely did transfer some flavor over into the water. It's a little bit weak. I could probably use some more berries. Maybe a higher concentration of berries in there would do the trick. Maybe add some honey or some sugar. That would definitely help a little bit. But other than that, for something I just picked off of a plant and threw in some water, it tastes pretty good. And I know it's giving me a little bit of a vitamin enrichment, an immunity boost, so there's a bonus there too. It definitely has a pleasant taste. It's not a bad taste. It's kind of got a tart berry taste. Not real sweet, but pretty decent. Well, that's a pretty cool trail marker. Well guys, unfortunately, that's all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed the video and would like to make a habit of coming along with me on all of my adventures, please consider subscribing to our channel and be sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified of all of our future videos. I'll be back with another video next Wednesday, guys. Until then, be safe, have fun, and get out in them woods.